Hello, my name is Roxane Webster.
I'm Keith Alba.
We are with my home team at Keller Williams Advantage Realty, and welcome to
The Honest Hour.
The Honest Hour.
What do we do on The Honest Hour, Rox?
On The Honest Hour, we talk about topics of the day. We do so with considerable charm and wit, but we like to talk about what we see in the real estate market, the economy as a whole, labor market, and how that impacts real estate and people's lives. If you want more of this content, you just dance right over there and hit the subscribe button, click, and then the little notification, ding. And maybe even you could share this with somebody else who would find it interesting.
Absolutely. Our commitment to you is to be no spin. We're just going to bring you the numbers, the information, the things that we see and how it may affect the real estate market in the Denver metro area, because that's what we do. We're in real estate. So why not share our knowledge and insight and expertise with you all?
Excellent.
So today's agenda.
We are talking about the rental market. And boy, oh boy, is there stuff to talk about the rental market.
Man.
Why don't you take it away? I read 20% year over year increases in rents. Holy Christmas.
It's crazy. Well, and I mean, I guess we can take that in a little bit of perspective, right? 2020 with COVID, with the shutdowns, with the eviction moratoriums, with all of that, that sector, the rental markets really took a hammering. It took a beating, and it is just now starting to see a little bit of life back now that the eviction moratoriums have ended. Non-performing landlords have the ability to get non-performing tenants out in most cases. There's been a lot of emergency funding that has come through to help tenants keep them in place, which has helped landlords come around. So,
though, I think that's such an intriguing idea because when we talk about the rental prices right now, usually when we see changes in prices, it's about supply and demand. And I think in this case, it's about both, right? The supply, when you think about the normal kind of digestive tract of the rental market, you've always got people who are renting and who are consistent and stay in places for years. You've got some people who move every year, and you've got in any market some number of non-performing rentals. People don't pay their rent, they get evicted. You don't pay your rent, you get evicted. Don't pay your rent, you get evicted. For the past 18 months, you don't pay your rent and you don't get evicted. So this normal digestive tract that would keep rental stock opening up as people were evicted, that hasn't been happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. You're right, for sure. It just hasn't happened.
Before we look at migration.
Yeah, exactly. That was where I was going to be going, right? 60% of the payroll job ads for for Colorado came from the Denver metro area, right? And 1/3 of the rental searches that are happening from outside the Denver metro area. So there's job creation that's happening in the metro area. And then there's people that are still looking to come into our great state. Our secret is out. People want to come, and they're coming here in droves. They hear the horror stories in terms of the low inventory that is out there. Maybe they don't know the state that well. So kind of the natural reaction is to say, you know what, I'm going to move into a rental home and get lay of the land, figure out where I really want to settle it in and put roots down. But to start, I'm going to go into this rental. So we're seeing these huge number of people that are coming in and going straight to the rental market, which is now pushing the demand up. And as you mentioned, supply has been restricted. It's been kind of cut off.
So what is this doing to rents, Keith?
Well, as you mentioned, we're seeing huge numbers that are out there. Different stats all the way around. I've seen 14.5% year over year rental rate increases through August. And interestingly enough, what we're seeing in the rental market follows what we saw in the home purchase market. And that is a migration to the outer parts, to the suburbs that are there. People want to get out of the city centers. They want to get out of the condensed populated areas.
Yeah.
They want bigger houses where they can work from home. They can handle maybe in-home schooling if the school gets shut down, things along those lines. So in the Denver metro area, year over year increases. The top area outside of Colorado Springs was Castle Rock with 21.6% increase. Parker at 20.5, Thornton's on 19.9, and Lone Tree at 19.1 year over year price
That's
increase.
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know, one bedroom apartment in the Denver metro area is running what, 1,450?
1429 according to the Denver Post. So the median rent, so that's a square in the middle of all the rentals that are out there, 1429 for a 1-bedroom apartment in the Denver metro area. You jump to a 2-bedroom and that number goes to 1743.
I don't know how people afford this. Those are mortgage rates. Those are mortgage payments.
They were a few years ago, right? Now our average sales price in the Denver metro area, if we're talking average, was $682, and the median is $580. So everything is going up. Rents, mortgages, fuel, food.
Well, and boy, that brings us kind of, it's interesting how we circle around the same topics again and again. But what I keep coming to is that I think that the ripples of this COVID era are going to take years for these scars to heal, and for the dust to settle. Literally, I mean, there's a term, the fog of war, the idea that when you're in a battle situation and bombs start flying, almost instantly there's so much dust and dirt in the air that you can't see more than a few feet in front of you. And that's what it feels like right now. Where do supply chains loosen back up again? Is this a temporary inflationary cycle we're in result of supply chains, or is this the launch of the 1970s era inflation? We just don't know. And you listen to the economists and read the news, they
don't know. I can't believe you said that on YouTube, right? Well, I guess it is the honest hour, so we made the commitment of being honest. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, nobody really knows what's going to happen on that sort of thing. But there's not a lot of people talking about the ramifications of that stuff, right? So if it is not just a temporary transitory inflation, like the Fed has been trying to talk about for the last few months, that means that inflation is here, right? Mm-hmm. And then Fed's talking about limiting their spending and stop, suppressing the interest rates low, pulling back on the bond purchasing. All that means essentially is interest rates are going to start rising in the future. That's going to make it more expensive for everybody to do everything along those lines. And if we continue to see these inflationary pushes become permanent, not necessarily, transitory, as they've been saying, who knows what's going to be coming, Go check out the forbearance and foreclosure honest hour we've done, right? We didn't even touch on that.
We didn't even touch on it. Nor we talked about labor, all right, the labor reports, what I'm seeing around the country, as you know, Keith, I do real estate coaching as well. And we're seeing upward pressure on wages. And if goods become more expensive and gas becomes more expensive and housing is more expensive, at some point something's got to give. And people say, hey, look, at the end of everything, I got $9 after I pay my rent and fill my car with gas. If people want high quality labor, I think that they're going to have to start wrapping their minds around the fact that they're going to need to pay for labor, that there's upward pressure on wages.
Right. But the flip side of that coin now is, as a business owner,
increased expenses.
Right? Yeah. Where does that come from? You're either reducing you're reducing your profits or your bottom line that you're taking home, affecting your family, or you've got to pass that along to the consumer, right? And so it puts you, so you're almost in this downward cycle of, hey, I need to give my workers more money so that they can afford this. But in order to cover that, I need to raise my prices, which means the other workers that are out there that are buying the product can no longer afford it. And there's the additional way, so it spiral. So who knows where it goes, in
that may have to be our new motto for the time being. Who knows where it goes in the days?
Who knows where it goes?
Yeah.
But what we can tell you is that it's part of the honest hour. We'll continue to look at these things. We'll track these things. and we'll bring you the information that we find and kind of tell you how we see it. In
All
order to
right.
make sure you get that, what do they got to do, Rox?
They gotta click that little subscribe button, and then you could just sashay over to the ding notification button. And if you were just really, really feeling enthusiastic about what we talked about today, you could share it with others so that they can do the same.
Love it. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.